right, here we are. Dean and Ann back again after watching another episode of True Detective. Night Country, Season 4. This is Episode 2. So we're going to do a recap and talk about what we discovered in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was pretty interesting.
Lots of revelations.
Yes.
Interesting things.
I mean, if there's only 6 episodes, they only have 4 left.
They don't have a lot of time to wrap it all up.
Yeah, I feel like they have been cramming a lot into these episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not quite in the picture here. Yeah, I'll scoot over a little bit. There, that's good. All right. Okay, so I know you take a lot better notes than I do. I just kind of absorb the episode, but it was nighttime in Alaska again. I think all 6 episodes are going to be dark and
yeah, because it's dark for 2 months, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. 60 days.
I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So the first thing I wrote down was that Rose knows all about Navarro and Annie Kay and that whole thing because she understands her and says, you need to stay away from this case. I thought that was the first interesting thing that was noted. I didn't really enjoy the crime scene antics with the guys and the chainsaw and all that nonsense.
I thought it showed what Jodie's character has to deal with all the time.
Dipshits.
So that's kind of maybe the way she is.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that explains why she has to be so tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, okay. I can see that. She has to
deal with idiots all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, but that wasn't the only thing that happened during the, while they're excavating the bodies. One of them gets a limb snapped off and starts screaming.
Yeah, we thought everybody was dead, and turns out there's a survivor.
Yes.
Who had to be rushed to the hospital, obviously.
And we see the spiral tattoo on
the forehead.
On the forehead. They talk about the eyes being scratched out and some of them being frost burned eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. Eardrums burst.
Biting their own selves, their own hands and
biting their hands and scratching their own eyes out.
Yeah. Yes. They also talk about how they don't have any forensic team.
Yeah, local.
No local. And so they talked about sending it to Anchorage and then,
And fans of the first season of True Detective will recognize the spiral as part of the Yellow King and the Carcosa legend and all that stuff from season 1.
Yes.
That's not the only thing that happens related to season 1.
No, it's not. And would you like to jump right into that or talk about...
We can get to it, yeah.
So after the credits, we see Jodie talking on the phone while walking through a school, and the nurse is talking about induced coma, so she can't go talk to him.
She's explaining what's going on with the patient.
Yeah, and Jodie bursts into a classroom, tells the kids that class is over, get out of here. The teacher's like, hey, wait. And
stop, no.
Yeah.
Science class.
Yes.
Science teacher.
And
turns out this is a booty call. No, this instance isn't a booty call.
No, but it sounds like they've had
the relationship
calls.
is a booty
it
call.
sounds like Jodie could be a little bit of a slut in a good way. It's positive now.
Just a woman out in the world. She's unattached,
And she's like, "Tell me about Salal." And then yes.
And so the science teacher goes into a little explanation as to what they were doing out there at Salal and why it's kind of a unique situation. He said something about there's usually a rotation. Scientists go for 6 months and then they rotate out. These guys stayed on for a long time and they were looking for a particular
microorganism
that lives in the ice or is preserved in the ice, they presume, that's supposed to help with
stop cellular decay, which would help with cancer, autoimmune disorders,
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So
I kind of thought that going back to not season 1, but episode 1, my X-Files radar was on right from the beginning, and I thought there's something in the air, something viral that's affecting all these guys. Why would they all leave and disappear? So this makes me think even more that they discovered something in the ice that caused them to go
Shouldn't
crazy.
have been discovered.
Right. Some things weren't
Yes.
meant to. Yeah.
So that's what we learned from this teacher man
Yeah.
at this time. Then we do have a conversation with Navarro, and I wrote down Mrs. Weasley because I couldn't remember her name.
Oh,
And it's not
Rose.
even Mrs. Weasley. I even got that wrong.
Yeah, it's Rose.
Yes, I know.
Rose and Navarro. They go back to her place because they want to
Yes.
talk about Travis
Yes.
and other things.
Does Travis visit often? And they talked about.
Yeah, lots of talk about ghosts and why ghosts come back and what their mission is, and there was I definitely feel like there's some foreshadowing because Rose says to Navarro something about some ghosts come back just because they need to tell you something, and some ghosts come back because they want to take you with them, and you need to know that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it's at this point she says the full name of Travis Cole.
Travis Cole.
If you remember from season 1.
Holy shit! This is Russ Cole's father that we've been talking about. Wow.
Yeah. And, they're bringing it all together.
Yeah.
And then is this also when she talks about Navarro brings up her sister,
Yeah.
who sees people following her, and Rose says not all ghosts are visitors.
Don't mistake the
yes.
the something world, the spirit world with
mental health disorders.
Yeah.
Yes. So
which I thought was a little dismissive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She seems like not she. I don't know. I don't. That didn't feel right for her to say that because she seems like a really open-minded person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The sister has been admitted to places before and did not like being drugged up.
Yeah.
So that is why she is here.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like to be taken care of.
They also talked about Ennis, the town of Ennis. It's a fictional town, but they talk about the place that they live, Ennis, as some kind of like I wrote down Nexus, but they didn't say Nexus. They said it's a place where the world has gotten old and the fabric of reality is breaking or something like that. And so
it sounds like Russ when he's like, this is somebody's faded memory of a town and stuff like that.
right.
And,
Very poetic.
And Marty's like, what? You should cut that shit out.
But it was really poetic that that Rose mentions that people in Ennis see ghosts, and then another character later on, the delivery guy, he's being interviewed by the kid.
Yes.
He's talking about the ghosts in Ennis and how people.
And he's like, you grow up here, you know.
You grew up here, you know what it's like here. So
sometimes even the dead get bored.
The night is so long, even the dead get bored.
Mm-hmm.
Great line.
After this conversation, we head to the department where Anchorage cops are there ready to take over.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the structure of the police force and who's in charge really. It's a little murky, but
I believe that cop was Christopher Eccleston.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
the actor,
the Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, Christopher Eccleston. He was in 28 Days Later.
Okay.
He was one of the bad army men.
You
have no idea what I'm talking about. And I believe he's one of the doctors. I think he was a Doctor Who. That doesn't matter. He's there to take over. And Jodie's like, no. And she opens the book that he gave her. And she's been studying. And she's like, you can't take the bodies away until they've reached room temperature. And that takes 48 hours. I wasn't room temperature. I'm just sorry.
No, they have to fall, but they have to fall at 38 degrees.
Yes.
For like 48 hours. So she moves them into a hockey rink. But how do we get to the hockey rink? We have to meet the owner of the hockey rink.
Yes. So we arrive at the hockey rink. The daughter's there. She's like, did you see me play? And Jodie's like, no, I didn't. It's very dismissive. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, there. That makes my job easier. And she walks over to Kate. And
And Kate is a character that we haven't met yet, but she apparently is the widow of somebody and maybe the owner of the mines. She's connected to the mine somehow, and also the mines own the skating rink, and so they have to shut down the skating rink, and so that's who Jodie Foster goes and talks to.
Yes.
And she'd had an affair with her husband.
Whee.
So this is guy number 2 that we're aware of at this point.
Yes.
Right.
We have the teacher, we have her husband.
And we'll get to the next guy in a second.
All right. During this hockey rink visit, they also talk about hypothermia making you crazy. I don't know why I wrote that. They talk about the tattoo. And they use... Oh, because they deliver the bodies pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They use the face of the dead man to unlock the phone.
Yeah, the iPhone.
Yes.
So then they get access to a video.
Yes.
That shows what we saw in season 1, where the guy's making a...
Episode 1,
sorry. And he's making a sandwich, and then over his shoulder, the guy's freaking out.
Yes.
And then there's a flash, and the camera goes off.
We don't see that right away, though, but we do see that.
Right.
Coming. We go to the bar, where Navarro is asking questions. She takes the guy out, and he's like, do you know this man?
That's Ryan. That's the sister of Anna Kay.
The sister of Anna Kay? The brother? Wait, what?
The brother. Ryan's the brother of Anna Kay.
See, I'm glad you pick up the names earlier better than me. Okay, asking questions. Do you know this man? And he's like, no. And then this other guy who's sitting at the table comes out and he's like, I know what you're doing.
But he does know the guy, and he doesn't admit to it.
Yeah.
He recognizes it.
And then a fight breaks out in the bar, and they all rush in, and that is the distraction.
Yeah, Townie's arguing with the miner guys, and the miners are ruining the town. And the Townies, so there's a lot of, animosity between the two.
Yeah.
That's fun.
We jump back to the hockey rink where it starts out with him watching videos on the phone.
The kid.
Yes, the cop junior, I'll call him. He, then they're talking about the prints. They have a handprint. There's no luck on the prints yet. And
his dad discovers that he'd stolen the box and comes and confronts him and punches him.
Oh, I wasn't there yet.
No, we skipped that part, didn't we?
No, I wasn't there yet.
Oh, sorry.
This is where Danvers is having the kid ask questions.
Oh, yeah.
And correcting him. This is where she's drilling people.
A really cool detective scene, yes.
Yeah, and she's like, no, that's not the right question to ask. And you can kind of get a taste for how she works and how
asking questions, asking the right question.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like it.
We jump to the long-haired man's home, the booty call man of Navarro, who's taking care of that dog.
He's a bartender.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe a bar owner.
Okay, yes, maybe. I'm belittling these people. Tending dog, they talk. Will you be home later? No.
Okay.
All right.
Are we going line by line?
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'll speed it up. But then this is where we're going to interviews. They're interviewing the cleaner and the delivery man.
Yeah.
We kind of already talked about this. They're asking about the spiral. We're jumping back and forth between each interview.
Mm-hmm.
We get that they're quiet. They're obsessed with their work. That they yelled at them when they moved their notebooks.
Right. All right, so in the interview for the delivery guy, we find out about Clark, who's one of the scientists, and apparently he's kind of crazy, or he knows that he's crazy, and he locks himself in his room and he runs around naked and stuff like that.
Yes, and he has a spiral tattoo on his chest, and that's how
a spiral tattoo on his chest.
That's how the delivery man had seen that symbol before. The cleaners all said no, they hadn't seen it, but they called it witchcraft and.
They thought it might be devil stuff, yeah. Yeah.
This brings us to the car where Navarro is driving and she's jamming out to Spice Girls. And man, I was getting nervous because it's distracted driving. She's pulling out her phone.
She's trying to talk on the phone, listen to the radio, weaving back and forth, causing all kinds of problems.
And then she runs over like a patch of ice, which makes her feel the cross in her car.
She drops her phone and she's reaching down to find it.
Okay.
She finds a necklace with a crucifix on it.
Yes.
And then that sparks a flashback
where she's from her childhood, where I'm assuming it's her mom.
I think it's her mom going crazy, yeah. And she just chucks it out the window.
Yeah.
And almost gets fucking killed.
But she doesn't. She makes it to Bar Guy's place.
Yes, for another booty call.
No, this is...
That's what she went there for.
No, not that bar guy. No, this is where she's interrogating that other guy, and she finds out that his cousin sold that person his trailer.
Oh, the guy at the bar, not the bar guy.
Yes, I'm sorry. I wrote bar guy. A long-haired bar guy is the booty call.
He's a minor.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my notes aren't chronological, and I try to keep them with where they are.
Bar guy.
The
other
location.
Bar guy.
So like bar guy's home. Yes, because I don't always catch their names. That's what he's here for. Okay. So we find out that, hey, this guy bought a trailer off his cousin 7 years ago. The cousin's dead from lung cancer, so they can't call him.
I missed the whole thing about the trailer. Like, where did she find out about the trailer? And this is why you're here, to take notes.
So this is how she found out about the trailer. She's like, oh, okay, here's this trailer. The Golden Eagle.
So she goes to the trailer park to find this.
Okay. No, okay.
I'm skipping around.
Jumping ahead. Okay. This is where we go. We're at the home of Cop Senior. He's texting his Russian love.
Oh, yes.
And this is where we find out he's really probably getting scammed. I mean, if she's real, that would be like the craziest.
She's asking
ending.
For money.
She's like, I'm worried about my mother. And he's like, don't worry, baby. I have enough money to send. And then she's like, send me more pictures of you. And so he's going around the house taking pictures of him.
Pictures, yes.
And then he's in his office and he's like, sees the cabinet door open. He's like, that box of evidence is missing.
That kid of mine.
All right. And that scene ends that scene. Now we're outside. Well, like she's getting coffee and then we're outside. The two cops, Cop Jr. and Jodie Foster. Okay. They're talking about their interviews. They're they're updating each other. Like, this is what this person says. This is what this person says. And then they're talking, how did it come up? The Tuttles, which is from season 1.
The kid figured out who's funding the research facility, the Tassal research facility. The money comes from an NGO. And that NGO is wholly owned or something by a Tuttle United. And we know the name of Tuttle
from season 1.
All the way back in Louisiana.
Yes. Yeah. They were a big part of the Tuttle Foundation. They were the ones who opened all those schools.
Yeah.
Religious things.
Yeah, they're also involved in all kinds of heinous shit with underage girls and rituals and rape and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's great.
This brings us to Kate, and then also Jodie tells him, no, you're working all night tonight. You can't go home and be with your son. Jodie goes to his house, Kayla's house, picks up Leah. Grandma there was drawing on Leah's face, which really pisses Jodie off. She was giving her a native traditional style tattoos on her face. 3 lines on the chin. And Jodie really hated that.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an overreaction, I thought, but maybe she's got reasons that we'll find out later why you ought not to do that.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. I didn't paint her in a good light, in my opinion. Then we're grocery shopping with Navarro and her sister. This is where everything's expensive because it's Alaska.
Yeah.
And Navarro's trying to convince her to maybe try the home again, and she's like, "No, I can't go back."
Facility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, it's fine, you'll stay. Then we have Leah, Jodie's daughter, in the bedroom, and she's kind of looking at the lines, and then she get a text of
from her girl.
Yes, sassy young lady, and she sneaks out from the window because she can't go downstairs because mom's putting up the tree. And while mom is doing that, she comes across a polar bear. And
the polar bear sparks a memory of her son.
Yes, and they're playing on the floor.
But we don't know where he is or if he's now dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leah does successfully make it to a supply room.
A store that the girlfriend is at. Maybe she runs the store or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she did make it to her destination. I do worry that something's going to happen to her.
Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of scenes where people are going somewhere and you're like, oh, they're going to die.
And it's pitch black, so I just worry. We're back. Now it's the hockey rink, and Cop Senior comes and hits Cop Junior for stealing the box and says, blood is thicker than raw water, and Jodie's not your family.
Right.
You have a family. That brings us to the Arctic Glacier Hotel.
Yes, Arctic Glacier Hotel, where the
out-of-town cop?
The Anchorage cop who's in charge of everything, including in charge of Jodie Foster's character, he opens the door. It's Jodie Foster. He's like, so you fucked me and now you really want to fuck me? And so then they fuck.
Yes. It's a lot. It's very unexpected. I did not expect
it. It was
I didn't
an
expect
intense scene.
Yes, it's pretty...
going at it on the table.
Then they're having their, bedroom talk afterwards. They've been doing this for 19 years.
Yeah. She had been married to a guy named Jake.
Yeah.
He reveals.
And he had also just gotten married when
it got started, and they keep saying that we'll never do this again.
Yes, this is the last time, but no. And then I didn't catch why he was threatening her or how she was like, "You're threatening me?" I don't remember what he was saying.
Something like he's not going to support her if it goes wrong. It was a little vague, but my guess is that he's going to blame everything on her if she doesn't, do a really good job.
So Jodie storms off and she goes back to the police department where she's on the phone with a tattoo artist about Clark because she had been going through his financials and found the tattoo parlor. And we find out he's Irish. Yes, he got the tattoo. The tattoo artist had the pictures. She said he cried when he got it done, probably because of her. And
the picture reveals the model for the art.
Yes.
Reveals Anna Kay.
Yes, it does.
But I skipped some stuff, didn't I? I don't think we need to go in.
You don't have to go in this
scene
detail.
for
okay.
Scene.
All right.
We can
okay.
summarize.
Wrap it up. Okay, we're at Navarro's home.
Summarize.
Navarro's home, and Jodie has broken in.
Yeah, but I mean it's Alaska, so maybe they don't care.
Well, she said maybe I have to start locking my doors. They are going to team up together because these cases are...
The picture shows that it was Anna Kay, and so now the cases are related, so they are going to work together.
And did I hear right that the tongue found in Salal was Annie's?
They've confirmed now that it is hers, yeah.
It is her tongue.
Yep.
Leah surprises Cop Jr. at the hockey rink. They do a little talking. We find a little bit more about Jodie there via a TikTok song because Jodie used to dance to that song all the time.
Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Yeah.
Navarro goes to the home of long-haired man to get a little bit of action.
Bartender.
Yes.
Her booty call.
Yes, he probably had just finished in the tub, so he makes her pancakes instead. While they're talking, the secret trailer comes up, and they're like, "Where would you keep a secret trailer?" And
obviously, at the
Nook.
The Nook. Everyone knows the Nook.
Yes. All right. We'll speed up.
I honestly think she could have figured that out without his pancake help.
Yeah.
Because if it's that obvious, she would have immediately thought of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she goes off on her own, finds the trailer. Meanwhile, Jodie, she's looking through some of the scientist notebooks, and this is where she's like, "Okay, this is normal. This is normal." And then she's like, "Eyes" is written on some of the pages, and then
you can tell when things kind of go off the handle.
Yeah, crazy scribbles in these books, and then she gets the call. "Come, you got to see this." And she goes to the trailer, and they're entering the trailer. The
trailer, which has all kinds of stuff in it. Crazy town.
Hanging things, scribbles all over the place.
Lots of bones of lots of animals.
Yes.
Right?
Annie's phone was there.
Yep.
It was not found with the body.
And the big spiral on the ceiling.
Above a bed.
A bed.
With two wrapped up bodies.
Were they bodies or were they just mannequins?
They could just be mannequins. I don't know. But we haven't opened them. They were all wrapped up.
Yeah.
She gets a phone call. "Chief, we have a problem." They go to the hockey rink. There's only 6 bodies in the ice.
There's only 6 bodies, so there's a 7th guy in the hospital, which means that there's an 8th guy unaccounted for. And they determine it's this guy Clark, whose trailer they were just at, and now it's on.
Yes.
Clark's out there. He's still alive.
Always.
Someone had to have folded the clothes.
Yes, and Clark doesn't like a mess.
Well, except in the trailer.
Yeah, yes. Well, that was, everything in its place. And so the hanging things get hung and the art gets written on the walls.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. What are your overall impressions of where things are going?
I feel like this made it maybe slightly less paranormally with, I don't know.
The fact that he's still alive?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure of my thoughts. I was thinking about that one when I went to the Bigfoot Museum and they had that exhibit about that exploration. I can't remember that campsite that was discovered. It's a famous one, and I should have researched before I started talking about it, where they're like, we don't actually know what happened to these people. And they,
like a lost expedition or something like that?
Yeah, and like, you know, there's a lot of documentaries about it, and like, they're like, it's Bigfoot. He came and he destroyed everything, and that's why everything was so strangely destroyed. But really, they had like a reasonable explanation of just... So that's what I was kind of thinking about.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure things will be reasonably explained. I couldn't imagine HBO going paranormal. Completely.
I mean, yeah, like leaving that as the explanation. Yeah. Paranormal. It makes me want to watch season 1 again, this episode, because of all the Tuttle, the Rust Cole, or what's Travis Cole, and the spiral. I mean, like, what's the connection, you know? And so we might watch season 1 again.
I love season 1. Yeah. I'll be honest, as I was watching, I was like, this is still interesting. It's better than... Season 2 didn't capture me, and I never finished it. This one's captured me a little bit more, but season 1 it still doesn't hold a candle to it.
Yeah, nothing can. The other seasons, as I said in our previous video, I think if they were standalones and they didn't have that same, you know, title, True Detective, then they would have been thought of as good series, good movies, whatever. But comparing them to season 1 is just wrong because, you know, it's just too good.
Yeah,
it's too good.
It is,
and the same with this season. You know, this season's got its really interesting points, but it's not season 1. It's not as good as season 1, and nothing can be. So,
yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
Well, put your comments below if you agree or have any analyses to share with us.
Anything that we missed, because there's a lot packed into these episodes. So if you caught something we didn't,
yes, please feel free and go ahead and like and subscribe and check out our football videos.
All right. Take care.